Hey there, I'm sitting here in my fleece black cape, which always reminds me of the witches, and my ancestral line, which is the Town family, which includes Sarah, Rebecca, and Mary, who were the three sisters that were accused of witchcraft in Salem, Massachusetts. And we have a Town family association, and we have a newsletter that comes out. And today I read the historian corner that my cousin Virginia Town wrote, and I thought it was very well written with a lot of historical facts that you may like to know or remember. So I thought I'd read it to you. So forgive me for any bumps in the road. And take a moment and just listen to this. It was written before the election. We celebrate that we have free speech and religious freedom today. But the colonies our ancestors immigrated to in the 1600s didn't have those rights. Religious orthodox was expected. Debate and free thinking were suspected and suppressed. Roger Williams, who was a notorious free thinker, had his book burned in 1644. As one churchman put it, every age hath its proper verifies, which the former age was ignorant of. Even so, the war between censorship and freedom of speech would be a long one. In the 200 years between the first colonialism and the writing of the Bill of Rights, the Age of Enlightenment occurred, with new ideas being expressed by radical thinkers and new scientific discoveries made by explorers and scientists. Let's look at the life of these settlers in an unknown land, months from home, many who had likely been jailed for not following the English Catholic Church. The church debate in England started when Henry VIII declared himself the head of the church in England. Protestant movements were happening elsewhere, with the Lutherans, Calvinism, the Anabaptism, and the Huguenots, French Calvinists, all across Northern Europe. The printing press was invented, and the Bible was printed in English and other local languages. Suddenly, anybody who was educated could read the Bible. Each person could then make up their own mind what the Bible said and how they should be worshiping according to their own version of the faith. Among Henry's many wives, the first was Spanish and a Roman Catholic. The rest of the wives were of a variety of other beliefs. To divorce Catherine, his first wife, Henry was up against the Pope and Catherine's royal family, who exerted considerable pressure on the Pope. Frustrated by delay after delay, Henry decreed he was the head of the church in England. Even today, the king, Charles III, is still the supreme governor of the church. This means that over time, different rulers have modified how they wanted the church to run. Charles wanted more ornamentation and instigated rules for mandatory attendance. This is what got William and Joanna Town caught. They missed one of the holiday attendances and were written up by the bishop. This infraction meant they could be jailed. They disappeared from England after 1635 and registered two new babies in Massachusetts. In 1639 and 1642. Oliver Cromwell came to power at that same time frame, and the English Civil War broke out, ending with Charles first losing his head. Forgive me if I'm not seeing the proper number. In Massachusetts, life wasn't easy. They had to establish a home, farm, crops, and animals. William was a gardener in England, so raising food crops was not a new skill. William had also studied basket weaving as a youth and might have used that skill for extra income. The land they settled on was near fishing grounds, and there were marshes near, so they were in a good place to survive. The work on the farm would start early, feeding and milking the cows, chickens to tend, weeds to eliminate, wood for the fire to be chopped, buildings to establish or repair, tools and harnesses to repair, and 6 children to clothe and educate. Always something needing to be done, frequently, long after dark. We have seen the split in the church in Salem Village. The Putnams dominated the church, taxing everyone to pay the pastor they selected. The Putnam faction believed in a simple life away from the city and its new ideas and distractions. The others were not opposed to visiting with strangers or investing money in new projects. When the new election occurred and new people tried to rein in the pastor, the witch trial then began. Today we see political divisions. When someone is accused in being this or that because they don't think the same as someone else. Today it's politics, but in those days it was someone who had a religious difference or was in some way different from the norm. In Rhode Island, Roger Williams was a free thinker, and he allowed all religions. In Massachusetts, Quakers were against the law, and they were different. Some were flagged, and some were flogged, and a couple were hanged for daring to speak teachings against the local norm. Baptists were welcome to leave Massachusetts and live in Rhode Island. In Gaskell's book, The Ruin of All Witches, we see a man who was easily angered, who was at odds with his wife and others, who slept in the fields instead of going home at night, who took out his aggression on anyone. He couldn't or wouldn't back down if he had any frustration. In other words, he didn't fit in. Someone like that was easy to accuse of witchcraft. As we are in the new election cycle for 2024, remember this Bill of Rights gives us all free speech, but that doesn't mean we can say anything everywhere. No yelling fire in a theater. If someone disagrees with you, politically, that's their right to free speech. Either disagree politely or walk away. Remember, the right of free speech and kindness are great companions that ended the witch trials. I invite you to take a moment and just pause and observe what's been happening. This is the holiday season. Is there any forgiveness that you could make happen? How far have we come through the ages? Maybe we could all just start inviting kindness and compassion and gratitude for allowing each other to be just who we all are. Nobody wants to be changed by another or feel like somebody wants to change us. You don't want to feel like you don't want to be changed, right? You don't want people to tell you to change. You would like to be accepted exactly for who you are. The witch trials in Salem were horrendous, along with many other very unfair, very bizarre happenings. I bid you good tidings, and I hope you enjoyed this. Peace.